Hi, I guess I'm live. We have just had our open talk therapy, which consists of every Wednesday between 1:30 and 3:30. We've only now come out of that at 6:15, where that's where everybody is now left. That's a long time, isn't it? But we give that time because it's important. Out of today's topics, um, very in depth, very deep emotional topics today of what consists of structure, discipline, and commitment to change. Showing up is a commitment to change, and when someone who shows up on therapy each week, they're taking care of their own mental health. As I do, I take care of my own mental health. If there's things that I want to discuss, I could do that. I listen to people and I hear them explain things. And some of these things that are explained are very emotional and can be triggers. For me, we covered PIP, what it's like to have a PIP assessment, and also the fact of when you are having a PIP assessment is that they're not seeing you on an everyday scale, that assessment is there and then, and actually they're not getting you at your worst. And I think that there was a lot of talk around that PIP assessment and the support and the mental health. So one of the questions that I did pose was just about when you receive a letter, anything to do with your mental health, do you find that you're becoming more mentally unwell because you have this assessment that is coming up? And deep down, do you feel you have to prove on the day how mentally unwell you could be at your worst? And that's where a lot of people said yes, they find that their self, when it comes to any forms to do with mental health, when it comes nearer to the time that the mental health, because you're being assessed, you're being judged, starts to, the anxiety starts to creep in and the deterioration starts to happen because it's overwhelmed with anxiety, judgment again, and on something that people feel that people should understand because it's already in written documents how unwell you can be. But what they do is they look at it on a daily scale. How well can you manage your tasks without supervision, without support? So it was important to understand what people go through when coming to PIP assessments, how much anxiety creeps in just before you have that assessment. Once it's all over, you can go back to trying being a little bit normal, but it's that initial first response, oh my God, I'm going to be judged again. Isn't it already written down? Isn't there paperwork that shows exactly what I've gone through? So the judgment is there again. So that was one topic, which was the PIP. The second one was losing a child. That was another topic today, which then got really intense. And again, on the scale time limit of when women should have children and when they shouldn't. When is it too late to have children? Are you on that ticking clock? So we talked about a lot of things around children. And when do you stop having children? That was another topic. Don't want to be too old before you can have them. And then we were dealing with death in your face, about witnessing death. That was another topic, experiencing death and how you handle it. How do you better your life, when life is gone before your eyes? How do you deal with that aftermath? How do you get through that grieving process? So we were talking about that as well. When one door closes, another one opens. I've got written down here. Courage is well, that's something within. That's something you've got to know, that can you do it? Can you do something that you perhaps wouldn't do? And I think coming to the open talk therapy is, can you do it? Not very many people will take the opportunity, and some people love the opportunity because it gives them a sense of freedom, a place to express. one of the things that we were talking about was commitment to change, and commitment to change the circumstances with the mental health. For all you've ever been accustomed to, you may never have actually addressed the things the way we address things, or given an opportunity to address situations. Therefore, some people are comfortable with the way that they're living. Some people want change with the way that they're living, or how other people are treating them. So what we teach is boundaries, discipline, and respect for oneself. And as rightly so, an individual said today, learning self-worth. Okay, not to be selfish, but to learn self-worth. So that was a big eye opener today, of a lot of us explaining who we are, where we are, or what we're doing, and what our experiences are. So we exchange experiences, we exchange tools, tips, solutions. But in actual fact, we're actually a team of unity, trying to make a difference, and we're committed to showing up each week. Not wanting to show up is part of change, by the way. We have a WhatsApp group, which is a daily check-in, and somebody says to me, why can't we be on the daily check-in? I said, because it's earned. It's not just given, it's earned. It's not just a random thing that we can just, oh, hi Barbara, hi Beryl, and that's the end of that. We're dealing with people that have mental health. Are you committed to at least say good morning to someone each day? Because that good morning is a good start for the day, or actually could save someone's life for the day. I always say silence is a killer, and suffering in silence is not necessary. It isn't necessary when there are options out there for you to grab that opportunity to change. We understand that you might not know people in the group, you might not know anyone in the group, but you don't know what you're going to get from something if you don't try it. I'm proud of those people that turn up to open group and give it a go. If they have not been there, they're missing 1 week and they come back another day, that's fine. They're still trying to learn and understand. But most of all is they want people to understand them. So it's a two-way journey here, give and take, but make sure that you're supportive and giving someone time to explain. And that's what we do at Open Talk. I'm proud of the people that open up, talk. It's a me time, and therefore taking that me time means putting yourself first. And so for me, I'm proud. There's times that I don't want to do this anymore, but that would mean that I would revert back to my old coping strategies and shut people off and shut the door and go back into social isolation. So for myself, whenever I do something, it benefits myself as well as others. And I think social isolation plays a huge part of people's depression. And earlier I talked about the social dilemma of the internet. Yes, it's okay if you want to spread awareness. To me, it works in my favor. But there's times when you're going to keep checking your phone. I think at the end of the day, people have stopped learning to think for themselves sometimes. I think the communication lessons when we rely on technology. I said earlier, if you have a house phone, how many people call your house phone? No, they call you on the mobile nowadays. So therefore, you're not even learning telephone numbers anymore. You just press the dial, and that's the end of that, isn't it? You then connected to the person on the other end of the phone. But there's a lot of texting that goes on in this world. There's a lot of writing, but not enough communication and not enough verbal communication, which produces which has an impact on people's mental health, has a huge impact on people's mental health. This social isolation. You think it's about going out. I don't think it's about going out. I think it's about who we speak to on a daily basis. If we speak to anybody at all, and I think that's the dangerous part. Some people are comfortable on their own. They've got accustomed to being on their own. Therefore, they'll probably die on their own and nobody would know until later on. But some people are not accustomed to being on their own. and they do want support. Some people don't have a good family around where they can offload or talk to, or who are going to understand what they're going through. And some people will form a family outside of their original family to somebody that will understand what they're going through. So that's me for the day. That's a positive. I did something positive today for the community. Once again, providing a platform for open talk. We had 9 today, and I'd like to see somebody else join and take the courage to join if you need support. We do not bite. You do not have to talk if you don't want to talk. You can listen, and perhaps you'll talk when you're good and ready to talk. But there were a lot of topics there today, one of which we will break down, and we will come to you with a panel to discuss certain topics, particularly those topics around children, not wanting children, having children, surrogate mothers, all of those things that come into play with our everyday lives that affect our lives. So there are a lot of topics on the table, and a lot of topics up for discussion. If you're bold enough and you want to actually come and I say bold, I'm going to use that word bold because it is a bold decision to go live. Even now, I'm looking at the counter to see if anybody's watching me, and me, it says none. And when it says none, it's a deterrent. It makes you just want to click it off, end the broadcast, and say, you know what, why am I bothering to give awareness? But I'm not doing it for anyone but myself. I'm talking to technology, and there'll be one person out there that will listen to this in their own time and will take something from what I do or what I say in their own time. That's good enough for me. We can't impress everyone. And what I do know about The Social Dilemma, which you will find on Netflix, is now that I know that these people behind the technology play with you like you're a puppet. So they're the ones that stop these broadcasts going through. They're the ones that manipulate your state of mind. But what they do is they make you drive. They're more hungry. I'm more hungry. Can I get the message across? I'm more hungry. But I hate the way I'm getting the message across. Yes, it's okay to do lives, but I'd rather be out there speaking to the public. I'd rather be out there providing and giving them leaflets and pamphlets in their hands. I'd rather be having a conversation. I would rather go back to my open talk therapy each week, my workshops, where people came out of the house, was able to embrace with a hug if they chose to, and able to sit there and have a cup of coffee and a cup of conversation. Nowadays, it isn't like that, is it? Nowadays, it's more like, yeah, what time are you going to be on the internet? Are they online? Are they offline? Text. And it's putting us all in a silent world, and it's causing more depression. So I think it's important that we speak to people. And if we can actually interact face to face, it is much better, much more comfortable, and it doesn't leave you feeling so lonely and isolated. So for me, who am I? As you can see, my name's on the screen. What do I do? Mental health awareness, suicide prevention. The prevention side of it is to talk openly, honestly, give someone time to talk and figure out things so they don't go back into self-harm, so they don't go back into committing suicide, and that they have someone to talk to. So for me, it's important that I continue to do what I was gifted in. Again, I never knew what I was going to do. I wanted to do and be a dancer. Who said you can't have everything? But I never thought I'd be doing mental health. And I think off of my own research, off of my own mental health with that label that we carry around, I'm trying not to let the label define me. I'm trying to figure out the label, EUPD, but I'm listening to other people who have labels, such as borderline personality disorder, such as emotionally unstable personality disorder, bipolar, anxiety is an emotion, not a diagnosis. They say they diagnose you with anxiety, but it's an emotion based on fear. So for me, when people reel off about their diagnosis as, I've got this, I've got that, they put it into so many packages. I've got panic. I panic. and I've got anxiety, and I've got EUPD, and I've got depression. And you know what I say to them? Stop it right there. What it is one whole package. Everything is under that one whole package. Okay? And then the emotions are coming out under that one package. So therefore, if you're experiencing anxiety, you are in fear of something. And that's what you need to master out. What the consequences are, what the harm will do. Can you overcome that fear? Because then it leads into panic. And then when the panic happens, it starts to creep up into your vocal cords, your breathing. And some people say that they experience it's like almost like having a heart attack, and etc. They don't actually know what a panic attack is. They just say it. But when you understand what a panic attack is, it can affect people's breathing. It can tighten up your throat, where it does actually change the way you're speaking, as if you've got a cold or a cough or something like that, and it's like somebody's strangulating your voice. That's because the anxiety is creeping in, and you are in a minute of panic in a sense. So therefore, how do you claim back that panic? How do you claim back that fear and anxiety? How do you do that? So there are techniques that you can do. There are breathing exercises. There is a distraction technique, which is one I've done today, because I'm going to give him a shout out. One of our mom members, Andy Patmore, gave us another tool he learned. So what we do is we share tools. One of those tools was, if there is a change in your life, or something that you're not accustomed to, and it's throwing you off steady, what you want to do is to fold your arms. And when you know it's a change, yes, it's a change your arms opposite direction. It's not quite easy all the time, because we're accustomed to doing this, which is a defense. Yes, it's even to keep yourself warm, but it's a defense. When you're talking to people, your body language tells you a lot. So, you might not be comfortable with the things that you hear, and if you're uncomfortable and it feels uncomfortable, switch your arms around, because at the end of the day, it is a change, and you're changing the brain up as well. Oh, okay. And it's showing you that there's a change. I'm not disheartened by who shows up, who doesn't. What matters to me is I show up. I'm showing up, and I'm giving back. So I'm proud of those people that show up. I'm proud of those people that take part. I'm also proud of those people that lay it all on the line and express how they feel about how other people are making them feel. And so that when we talk about boundaries, because that's what comes into play here, when you're dealing with outsiders, anybody, your family members, anyone, it is boundaries. It is pure boundaries. And somebody asked me, why can't we come in the same group? I said, it's earned. Until we get stability of somebody, and we know that they're committed and they're going to show up, and we know at the end of the day that they're not going to mess around and put things that are promoting methods in a group. I can't obviously say what the methods are, but we're very mindful that some people, when they're in healing process, still project the things that they once done. Example, I can say this because it's not a method, it is a tactic. For example, I'm not going to say it. No, I'm going to retract that. Sorry, let me retract that. Some people will put out how they done something, and it plants an idea into somebody that is still vulnerable and still suffering from depression. So what we ask is, please be mindful of the articles that you put out. Be mindful of the methods that you promote. Yes, we understand that you want to tell your story, but you can tell your story where it doesn't implement that seed of how you did something to hurt yourself. Because when you plant that seed to somebody else that's vulnerable and it's not quite there yet, it then gives them food for thought for later when they're depressed. Oh, I know, I remember this. And therefore they go and do something and act upon that. So it's why we don't promote the method on the Mom Project as much as we can. We try not to promote the method. There was an article the other day because somebody committed suicide, tried to commit suicide and actually was saved. Won't tell you where they were saved or how they were saved. I refuse to promote how they try to commit suicide, because it plants that image and that behavior into somebody else's head, and we're aware of that. The newspapers keep doing it, and that's getting on my nerves, because they're the ones that keep planting the seeds and how to do it and where to do it. And this is what we're against. So when we read these articles, we should automatically put in a complaint to the newspaper and say, you are teaching these children, these adults, these people that are vulnerable, how and where they can go and commit suicide, because you're advertising it. And this is where we learnt it from. The advertisement is coming from your mouths, or from paper, or from images, or from films that you watch. That's where you're learning it from. We have to unlearn this and be mindful of other people when telling them a story of you were where you once was. I once was depressed and I tried to end my life in this way. This is the thing that we want you to not do, is promote that method. I can't stress that enough. If you agree with me, please share this message, because I'm also trying to say, please stop promoting the method in how you try to end your life. It just puts it onto another vulnerable person. And not planting them seeds would be more beneficial. I think that's all I've got to say today. I'm really proud of people today. I'm proud of myself for showing up. I'm proud of myself for giving back. I'm not very proud of some of the Facebook users, as much as I would like to be proud. I feel that sometimes Facebook is just used as a look at me rather than I'm going to help you. And I think everybody needs helping hand. If you're going to be in the same circle, then you've got to help each other up. Awareness is important. If you want to raise awareness with us, please do get in touch with myself. There is a website down the bottom, as you can see. And therefore, any questions that you want answering, if you want to attend or be a part of anything, please do visit www.momproject.co.uk. Have a look at the website, tells you what we're about. If you would like a workshop, if you would like to be a part of anything, part of something, and you'd like what we're about, then we don't bite. So step forward if you want to. I know it takes courage to do it. I know it takes years before you actually reach out. There's somebody that took 2 years before they reached out. Somebody took another year before they reached out. Hey, they're here now. And you know what? That's what matters. When does the change begin? When does the commitment to take care of your mental health begin? Earlier it was an age gap between some of us. Some are in their late 50s, and some are in their 20s, and some are in their 30s, etc. But when you do have that age gap, you can actually take years of depression of someone's life by giving them back the tools to good health and well-being. I like to do that because it's taken me so many years to master out discipline for myself, to not revert back to what I'm accustomed to. So change is good, and be the change that you want to see. It's all entirely up. It's entirely up to you. If you're getting this message, you can visit us on Facebook. There is a Facebook group, open group, for anyone that wants to join to learn more about mental health, or maybe to have an impact, an input, and spread some awareness as well around mental health and the topics of disabilities. And that disability can be anything that's going to affect depression. For me, you can visit the Facebook group. It says it down there, isn't it? Raise awareness with us at the Mom Project Mental Health Awareness Real Talk. So you can find that on Facebook, but you can find the company on www.momproject.co.uk. And if you'd like to be a part of open talk workshops each week, please just drop me an email, and then I will provide you with what it's about and how you can get involved. Thanks for listening. Please share the awareness. That's all we ask.